Hey guys, Jay here and welcome back to the channel. So over the course of the past 3 days, we've all watched as Mantra has gone through a severe crash similar to the Terra Luna collapse, and something that they're probably going to be getting out of this situation is a genuine post-mortem on exactly what happened, what went wrong, and how they can prevent it in the future. And if there's anybody to be held accountable, they should be held accountable. And this has really only sent me back to one place.
When you think about a mole at TFL, is that because they knew when the migration would happen, they knew when the weak point would be, or they knew all of the things that could have gone wrong?
Well, so the attack happened with the four pool migration plans, and the only people that knew that were TFL employees. Um, the the event happened precisely at the moment when our entire leadership were on flights.
As of today's date, we still do not know who this mole was, who was responsible for the DPEG, who coordinated the attack whilst TFL leadership was in flight to Singapore. These are all the questions that I believe we're going to get the answers to in the months and years ahead, and it may take some time to draw it all out, just as it did with the civil case, and we're now seeing that come to an end. We've seen the LFG assets burned, and there could be more positivity on the horizon when it comes to the LFG reserve assets. So for now, we can done and dust the civil case, and what we really need to begin focusing on is the criminal case that is pending. This is where they're really going to get into the nitty gritty. This is where everything is going to come out in the wash, as I say here on the channel, and them really delaying to review 4 terabytes of new evidence is bullish for us because we are possibly, and I truly believe from my perspective, we are going to get the answers that we've all wanted for a serious amount of time, and we're going to get the closure that this ecosystem really needs to put this entire thing behind it. And the journey to get to that point could only be bullish for this ecosystem as more information is made available, as we get access to these court documents as the case is being tried in the United States. So what you're going to want to focus on with DK, what could happen, where this is really going to go, is effectively what information he has available to give to those who are possibly going to be prosecuting him in the United States. And this isn't unusual, it's not uncommon for a person to feed the government's information to get time reduced off their sentence. Now, something that's floating about at the moment, I don't really like the idea and concept of this, but there is some weight to it. And there is rumors out there that Binance has ratted out on Justin Sun to strike a deal with the US DOJ. And this is actually resonating even further as he's beginning to cozy up, according to the Wall Street Journal, with the Donald Trump family and their ever expanding list of digital ventures. So, this is an article where they're wanting to remove the transaction monitors in order to list USD1 being Trump's stablecoin. So, when I say information is very valuable, trust me, it is. And I really do believe we're going to see a situation play out where Dokwon starts to give the absolute truth to the courts. So he can either ease his sentence, reduce his sentence, or completely nullify the thing in total. Because if he is right and he is correct about what he's saying, there was a coordinated attack on them when they're in flight, and the only people that would have known this were TFL staff, and that this mole coordinated the attack. This would mean that Dukwon did absolutely everything to try to save the peg, to try to save the lunar ecosystem. And effectively, a lot of the outcomes that I think of are very bullish for this ecosystem. Imagine a scenario where he is right, he's not lying, he is telling the truth, and they get to the end of this court hearing and he's found not guilty. There is a situation where that could unfold. Duquan has himself pleaded not guilty to all of the charges. So it's going to be an interesting situation. And I'm really starting to wonder, who's he going to throw under the bus? Is he going to come out and tell us everything that we really wanted to know? Everything that he didn't say or didn't want to say in the Coin Hall interview. And I think it's a really intimate interview. And the interviewer himself, he does a really good job of prying information out of Do Kwon. And we see a different side to him. We see the emotion setting in a little bit. We see him also stepping back from the emotion and saying, look, you've just got to sort of erase the emotion. You invested, you lost, I lost, and it's my fault. It's a peculiar situation. But again, I start to think about the information that he could feed out. And on top of that, he understands the ecosystem better than anyone. And as part of the final judgment, and according to Chris Armani, Do Kwon worked very diligently whilst he was incarcerated to ensure that the assets relating to the Terraform crypto assets actually went back to the original chain. And I'm going to do a video. I'll grab that clip. The whole X space is available on our YouTube channel because TFL deleted it. I'll try leave a link to that for you guys so you can go in and listen to the whole thing. But Chris really, he tells us everything that Do's really been doing whilst he was incarcerated. We actually saw that play out. And now what I'm starting to think to myself is, and the deeper I look into that final judgment, I start to understand that the Terraform crypto assets all fall into a very specific bracket, and the Luna Foundation Guard assets being transferred to the SEC were actually nullified and removed from the liquidation heat map, and we would have seen them liquidated by now. And I'm starting to think to myself, maybe, just maybe, and I don't know how these assets would return to our blockchain, how we could claim them or really use and utilize them. I don't know at this point. But what I do believe is there is a scenario where we could get the LFG reserves in final being 313 BTC returned back to our ecosystem. After all, the Luna Foundation Guard has a very specific terminology when it comes to the use and usage of the LFG reserves, and it's all dictated and determined around the original chain, and none of those documents have been changed. They didn't have a time to change them, and all they did was move these assets into a custodial format where the SEC would have direct control over them. Again, haven't seen them liquidated. A lot of people never thought that they would go ahead and burn 1.86 billion USTC, as we've been saying on the channel, but they did. They went ahead and they did that. So there isn't a part of me that says this isn't possible, because like I keep saying, anything is possible in crypto. I truly do believe, and I'm not just saying it, I really do believe we are going to get the answers that we deserve throughout this criminal case, because the civil side of it is completely different. That's dealing with everything we've just gone through, right? To make the claimants whole again and to really iron this thing out. But the criminal case is what is going to really bring us all of the juicy good bits. We're going to find out who this mole is. And I could probably guarantee you guys 100% that Do Kwon is going to give out as much information as he can. And during his Coin Hall interview, the key reason I think he didn't want to really follow the route of figuring out who did this was because of the fact it would take him so long and he wouldn't have the time to do it. He wouldn't be able to focus on fixing Luna 2.0. And now he's incarcerated. Now he's in a situation where he's got, well, all of the time during the day to really think about this, to really, and I can imagine him, he's compiling evidence, he's building the story, he's going to produce the timeline, and maybe, like I said, he's found not guilty. Wouldn't that be crazy? To get to the end of this and they just have to release him. And honestly, it's not something that would be unusual, because the DOJ are not going to be dropping charges against Do Kwon despite new crypto policies rolling out. So there's the little whispers out there, if you will, you know, the fishwives, they're telling tales, and we're starting to see this little trickle down effect. I'm quite bullish on the future because, again, transparency is absolutely everything in a decentralized environment. If you haven't seen the Coin Hall interview, go and watch it. You'll be quite interested to hear how Do Kwon was really handling the situation, which was the crash at the time. But yeah, guys, that's all I really got for you for now. Price updates coming later, so keep an eye out for that. And aside that, just stay safe, you guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and I'll catch you in the next one.